Hi, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Actors Waiting Room podcast. And this week I have with me Florence Waters, who is an illustrator and animator. So, hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I am good. I'm very well, thank you.
Good, 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 good. So, you are my first illustrator slash animator to have on the podcast, which I know, yeah, it just seems a bit odd, but I'm trying to get as many creatives in different fields
Yeah.
around this sort of film and TV and creative sphere, really, because I think it's beneficial for actors to know where these things come from.
hmm
Yeah. And like in the sense of one day, if anyone's given the opportunity to voice certain animations, let's know where they come from and like the time and effort that goes into creating these amazing characters and this beautiful aesthetic. So, yes, very excited to have you on.
Thank
It will be an interesting one for us because obviously what you do is incredibly visual. And so we might have to over explain things for people who are just listening. Obviously, the episode will be available on YouTube if anyone is interested in watching the episode as well. But we will try and explain things with imagery as much as possible because obviously, yeah, what you do is incredibly visual.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be beneficial for you to just tell us the sort of specifics of like what you specialize in, and what sort of projects it has sort of led you to be
hmm
on, even though you're kind of, only newly sort of in your career at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always studied design and illustration. I'm in my first year of being postgrad, so yeah, I am very new to this
Mm,
and to freelancing in general. I'm kind of like figuring everything out right now.
yeah.
So it's been like very up and down.
Mm,
I did my BA at Southampton University, where I started in graphic design, but then went on to do illustration.
amazing.
And then I did my master's at the Royal College of Art, which is where I did visual communication, which kind of is a bit of everything. So it was quite like a broad topic. So you could do like design and graphic design and motion design. And that's where I kind of started exploring animation from
Mm,
illustration. So I graduated last year in 2024. And this year I feel like I've learned just as much this year from actually like doing it
mm,
for the first time than when I was studying. And I was always kind of like freelancing alongside studying. And so I was kind of like building up this portfolio. So I specialize in illustration for books, book illustration, but also work on animation. My ethos is to create like visual stories. So
mm.
to tell and create stories that can be felt and seen visually,
Mm,
and what that looks like, whether that's like static or whether that is moving image. So yeah, that kind of naturally led on to me developing more of an professional animation career. I just worked on like my first big commercial stop frame animation campaign for Galleries Lafayette, where I built the set and the puppets and then directed and animated the animation,
Amazing.
which was great. Yeah, it was really cool. And like I hired a team for the first time and
Oh my God. Pressure.
yeah, 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 exactly. No, it definitely was. And I do like that was such a learning curve for me as well. And then also like documenting and sharing all of this process
Yeah.
on Instagram and on my social media.
Yeah,
Um
you should absolutely go and have a look at Florence's page because it's beautiful. Like it's so aesthetically pleasing. It's amazing. And really interesting. It's how I found you. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No, no worries. So I read on your website that you kind of specialize in 2D illustration and did you say stop frame?
Yeah, so illustration and then animation are kind of separate. So it's like 2D animation and stop frame animation.
Mm,
But stop frame also kind of involves like set building and set making,
yeah.
um which is like completely different from illustration.
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like I feel like one is just like a development of the other, and it was like quite a natural thing to
Mm.
go from creating, because I was always drawing. Like one thing that I think has helped me the most is that like I've drawn something almost every day for the last like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like just for fun.
Mm.
And just because I love it and like it's what I want to be doing. And so I think naturally you kind of explore like different avenues
Yeah.
of creativity. Like I started thinking like what would my visual style look like
Mm.
3D, or like what would it look like in a set, and what would it look like if this character could move, and
Mm.
like what how could making the images move like drive the story further.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of like so w when you kind of go into like book illustration, like it's all about like sequential images and telling a narrative through lots of images,
Yeah.
and how you can do that. And that's kind of like animation, because
Mm.
animation is just a lot of images all
Mm.
very quickly. Like I've like grown up watching Fantastic Mr. Fox, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah.
Mm.
So just influenced by other people, I think, as well, and a natural like curiosity around that.
Yeah, exactly. And like, can you explain what stop frame animation is? Like,
Mhm.
from my understanding, it's kind of like Wallace and Gromit. Like, is
Yeah,
that similar? Like, I
yeah,
remember ages and ages and ages ago, there was like a documentary out about like how they made Wallace and
yeah,
Gromit through like literally. So if you can explain like how that's kind of done,
yeah.
to our listeners, yeah, what is that?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Wallace and Gromit. So stop frame animation. So all animation is just a sequence of photos that get played very quickly.
Hmm.
So I think it depends like how choppy you kind of want it and how like obvious you want
Mm.
it to look, but
Yeah.
usually you kind of aim for like 24 frames per second. Yeah, so it's a lot of images all in like a very short amount of time,
Mm.
which obviously takes so much time.
Yeah.
It's literally just that. It's like
Mm.
it's how you can make a character move across images so that when you play it really quickly, it just plays like a video,
Yeah.
which I think is like the coolest thing ever.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just like live action, like it's just like
Hmm.
sped up version,
But incredibly time consuming.
incredibly time consuming. Yeah, and also like really hard. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I did a course with a guy called Tim Allen who actually worked on Fantastic Mr. Fox, and he worked on
Amazing.
like Corpse Bride, like, and it was so cool. But I realized like how hard it is. Like it's and like you kind of need to know a lot about physics, because you
Ah, yeah.
yeah, because if you move, so you have your puppet, and the way you move your puppet has to be realistic, otherwise like it'll be jarring for the
Mm,
see.
yeah.
And if you have your puppet like off center, and naturally like it's an unnatural position for it to be in real life. Like your puppet's going to
Mm,
fall over, but obviously you have like rigs and stuff, and you have things that make it not. So
mm,
you it's like it's a lot of physics. I have this
yeah.
massive book that is just basically all like all animation like rules,
Mm.
and it's massive, and like you're always also gonna do like something wrong, but I also think that that's like quite an interesting part, and I think that's where like I really love stop motion, because it's so like it feels so handmade and hand felt.
And you can feel that in this in when you watch it as well, because
Yeah,
it feels so human, even though
yeah,
you're watching like you said it's funny that you said like Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox
yeah.
because that's literally part of my question because I was there
Oh,
like
really?
yeah because I was like I can see the influence kind of in your work of
Yeah.
that just with like sort of the soft lighting
Hmm.
the nostalgic feel of it
Mm.
it feels very like in the nicest way it feels safe
Yeah,
like it feels
yeah,
like I can watch it because
yeah,
it's but then also it's dealing with such wider adult themes, which I think is one of the beauties about animation as well.
yeah.
But yeah, it definitely feels that. I'm wondering if there's sort of anyone else that has also influenced your style because although Wes Anderson is similar to yours, it's not the same. Like you have your very own unique style, and I'm wondering, yeah, if there are any others that have influenced you.
Yeah, absolutely. So many. My favorite thing to do is, I mean, like most people, is to be on Instagram and see what other people are doing. And
Mm,
Instagram is such a good, like it's social media and it has its bad things about it, but for illustrators, I feel like it's such a good way to draw inspiration from other people and see what other people are doing. And like it's so cool to have built up like a little community of people that are doing similar things to me because they do like people do things that I would have never have thought of
mm,
doing in that way, and they're like on the other side of the world and I can see it and it's really cool.
mm,
And then and also you can talk to these people. So a lot of like inspiration just comes from me seeing things on Instagram and saving it and being like, oh, that's really cool. Like
mm,
specifically with like lighting choices, that's something that I kind of find actually the most difficult is like figuring that out. So whenever I see someone that's like done something quite interesting with lighting,
mm,
I always save it and always try and like use something similar in my work. So I've been like reading like picture books since before I could even read.
mm.
And so I have a lot of influences that are from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
So one of the biggest ones is Lauren Child, who did Charlie and Lola.
yeah.
Uh, and like
You can really see that in your
yeah,
work. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love her stuff so much. I even have a couple like little Charlie and Lola heart tattoos.
Um,
Um, I really, yeah, so Lauren Child is a big one. And I feel like people who I loved when I was growing up, like it wasn't like I was even thinking about them inspiring me, like I was just loving what they were doing, and
mm,
it kind of naturally became like an inspiration for me without me even like kind of
mm.
um like
Knowing
thinking.
it really, yeah.
And then, so like more when I was actually studying, I really like an illustrator called Laura Carlin. She's really great. So she does books as well. She does a lot of illustration that is quite like a naive visual language and is for kids and looks very lovely. But also has a lot of like darker or more meaningful like undertones to the
Mm.
storyline, which I think is super interesting and is something that I definitely explore in my own work. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So let's talk about, I believe it was your grad film, wasn't it? Something So Lovely. Is
Yes.
that your grad
Yeah.
film?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, which has won two Webby Awards, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What sort of describe to our listeners what the sort of storyline is for Something
Mhm.
So Lovely?
Something so lovely was, yeah, so it I it was for my grad film when I was doing my master's. And it was so I had made I had made a stop frame animation before then that was like a couple minutes long, and it was the first time I had ever done stop frame animation before. And I never really took it anywhere. But I feel like that was like the practice for Something So Lovely, which was my first, like, it was kind of like my debut in directing. So the idea is that the main character is my childhood teddy bear called Blue Bat. The story kind of follows him going through life, and he's also 23, and he's also like experiencing life for the first time, and the storyline is made up of a lot of like diary passages like all strung together
Mm,
to make a story, and so it explores getting an ADHD diagnosis for the first time, and how he kind of feels about that, and then also like the darker sides of like mental health and depression particularly. But then halfway through the film, we and the film's only like 6 minutes long. It's a very short film, but halfway through the film we have some children voice actors who are meant to be his like childhood self, who are then like giving him advice on how they think he should go on and live his
Mm.
life, and knowing that things feel uncomfortable now and don't feel okay now, but like they will be, and things will work out, and life has a way of working out,
Yeah.
and like trusting in that. So yeah, it's meant to be a nostalgic, comforting that talks about uncomfortable things, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what you do so well is that you have a lot of, yeah, if it feels like when I said the word earlier, safe, it feels safe to watch your content and then learn about something else, but in like a, yeah, in like a safe little environment. But it feels like, oh, you can really like, because it's so aesthetically pleasing, it's so warm, the colors are really, yeah, they're just so warm and just inviting. But how long did it take you to create that? Because
Yeah. I started with the first like kind of ideas and concepts in the January to yeah, January 2024, and then I premiered it in December 2024. So about a year
yeah.
or to make 6 minutes. Yeah, it took a really long time. And then there was also like different revisions of it where like after I graduated, I wanted to make it better and I redid a lot of things because after I did the mentorship week with Tim, I then like basically revisited everything and refilmed
Mm,
because I could like see all the things that I'd done wrong.
mm,
Uh, yeah, it took a really long time, but also within that, pres I like pitched it to a panel when I was graduating from RCA and ended up winning a grant. It's called the Memorial Grant, which then gave me a bit of money to put on my own like little film festival, my own little premiere. But that money then allowed me to like kind of curate an evening where other
mm,
filmmakers came. Yeah, so I wanted the film to be the best it could for that evening. And I could still like now I could remake the whole thing and like
mm,
better.
mm.
Like now I watch it and it's kind of hard to watch because I'm like, oh, like I
Oh.
change this and this, but
Mm.
I'm
Nothing's
happy.
ever going to be perfect though. Do you know what I mean? Like in any process, like
Yeah.
um yeah, whenever I start something new, whether it's acting or writing, it's literally like I hate that. I was there like I hate
Yeah. Oh my God,
go
yeah.
through so many
Yeah.
stages being like, okay,
Yeah.
that's really good. And then I go look back for a week
Yeah.
afterwards, I'm like, that's shit. I don't I don't like that
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Well, that's how you know you're learning as well.
Mm.
That's the best way to learn. Yeah, and something so lovely was my first proper film where I then like shared it with people.
But always the response is so much better than you think as well, because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it always is like because I think everyone achieves for this unexpected like divine thing that we all desperately want and actually like yeah you can't always see so clearly when it's your work but I wouldn't know that that was a grad film. It's only because I read it I was there like oh my God like it's yeah it's astounding. Is there anywhere that people can go and watch it if so?
Yeah, so on Gumroad, that's where it is at the moment. So it was in a couple of festivals, so I haven't put it online public yet. Yeah, otherwise like all the information is on my website or on my Instagram. So and I post like a few clips from it on my Instagram too. So
Yeah,
Gumroad is where you can watch the whole thing.
what is Gumroad? Am I being really naive?
No,
But
it's where people can like pay for content.
oh,
So
okay.
artists and stuff. I think you put paywall up and it's like a couple of pounds. But it just means then that like you're getting like something from it. And also with it being in like festivals and stuff, like they want to premiere it as well. So having like a paywall kind of helps with that. Um,
Ah, okay.
then it's not public.
Mm. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your favorite animated films.
Yeah.
Um, like to be fair, I recently just watched it's quite old now, but it's Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And like no one else around me has watched it. And my partner, like he just put it on one evening and I was like, what on earth is this? And then
Yeah.
he was like, oh no, like this is supposed to have won like loads of awards, like it's really,
Yeah.
really great. And I'm like in tears during some of
Yeah.
it. Like it's
Yeah.
so good. And
Yeah.
I just need people to go and watch it. I think it's
Mhm.
fantastic. It's
Mhm.
literally, and I think the premise is so clever. Like it's about a mollusk shell that's been found in an Airbnb by this person who's going on holiday for like a week or whatever he's doing, decided to basically make a documentary about this mollusk shell that has barely any lines that just sort of wanders about and stuff
Yeah.
and but you see its relationship to its like mum and it's like and how it lives around there and it's so touching but it's
Yeah.
honestly like one of my absolute favorite animations now like I think it's
Mhm.
fantastic
Mm.
but yeah, I'm wondering what sort of what ones are you watching, or is there any like, classics that you love?
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously Fantastic Mr. Fox is like the
Up tier.
yeah, exactly. And I like love that film so much. And
Mm,
I love Wes Anderson's films and I love
mm,
stop motion and I love like the soundtrack and I think like everything about it is just like beautiful.
mm,
Um and comforting and like nostalgic as well.
mm,
And yeah, yeah, just love Fantastic Mr. Fox so much.
mm.
Mm, yeah, and then I've done a couple of jobs where I've like helped out on sets for stop frame animations and there's a studio in London called Clapham Road where they film a lot of like commercials and shorter films. So I once worked with a director called Joseph Wallace, and he is like so incredibly talented in his films. And then like you have the big ones. I also like I've really been enjoying recently how people have used stop frame animation instead of special effects. I think
Mm,
that is like so interesting.
mm.
So I know Just Eat ad, I think that was it was for like a food delivery place. I think it was the Just Eat one. That was all stop frame animation, which like I love that they're like using stop
Yeah,
frame for like,
yeah.
shorter ads.
I
I
think
know
the BBC use quite a lot of it
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, because Joseph Wallace did a couple of things for the bedtime stories for the BBC, which was
Right.
beautiful.
Mm,
Blinkink is another one that they just did the Coldplay ad where lots of different animators of like loads of different styles all animated like a little section of the Coldplay
oh,
music video, which was
cool.
really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're great. But also like in bigger like Isle of Dogs isn't like I love Wes Anderson. I love stop
Mm,
frame mixed with his. And even in Astro City, like the alien coming down from the spaceship,
mm,
um his like that's all stop frame animation where they could have just used
mm.
like special effects and
Yeah.
CGI and stuff, but they chose not to. And I think that is the great thing with stop frame animation that you can do anything with it. So like why not?
Yeah.
There's also a really good film called Save Ralph, which is about a bunny who he's like a lab rabbit and I can't remember which who the film was for. Yeah, it was like about him and his life and that was really really good. Um
Yeah.
yeah, but there's loads like
There's so
there's
many.
so much going on at the moment which
Mm.
is I think so cool.
Yeah, and I think I mean, obviously there's the classics for a reason, like, Corpse's Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas. Obviously, like, they are amazing. Coraline is one of my favorite films, like, of all time. Like, I absolutely adore Coraline.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's so many more out there. I think we just look at like the mainstream ones and like, I think there's another one called Memoir of a Snail that looks
Yeah.
like that looks great. I need to watch that. Yeah, and so I think go into it, I think more with an open mind. It's not then rarely for children. Like
Yeah.
there's some dark themes in some of them. Like, I mean, definitely with obviously like Tim Burton and stuff like
Mhm.
Coraline, I swear to God, I'm like, is this a children's film? I'm like,
It gave me nightmares when I watched
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
know. It's crazy. Is there anything from, your career so far, and I know it's still quite early, but was there anything in the process of you becoming, or in your journey that you thought was surprisingly hard that you didn't expect to find hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously like the kind of technical things and like learning there's going to be like things that you find tricky there, but I on it like I think especially since coming from university and from kind of like always having like a next step kind of put in place for me. So like I went to school and then I went to college and then I went to uni and then I did a master's. Like doing all of that and being in full-time education and
Long
then
time.
yeah, with no break either. And then just kind of stopping and like no one really tells you what to do.
Mm,
Like the first few months of like being finished with school, I found really, really difficult.
mm,
Also like my uni was in London. Everyone went back home.
mm,
Most of the people in my course were not from the UK. Like I wasn't seeing anyone. And also like I had done another year, so all my friends from my undergrad had like gone and got jobs and stuff.
mm,
And so honestly found that like really lonely. I think
mm,
has been one of the hardest things.
mm,
And I think that made me like quite an introverted person, whereas
mm,
before I feel like I was maybe quite the opposite. And then I also feel like that kind of has something to do because I did uni in COVID. So I think a lot of like the creative space then going online also like had quite a lot to do with
mm,
that. And like if you work for yourself, you kind of just work in your house and you can go like all day without really talking to anyone.
mm.
Um, so I found that really quite difficult.
I think it is though. I think it is really difficult because, like you said, you've always gone from. I speak about this a lot because I think creatives, if for whatever creative you are, we all have this because we come out and we're freelance.
Yeah.
Um, we have to go find our own work, and like that's really difficult, particularly when you've been in an environment, like you said, from such like everyone's been in education from such a young age with somebody sort of telling you what's next, what's the next thing to learn, what's the next project to work on. And
Yep.
then you don't often, I mean, there are lots of people that do walk into jobs after university, and that's great, but there is often, particularly with freelancers, that we don't. And it's been busy, 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 busy. And then it's like, whoa, there's like,
Yeah.
and it's from one extreme to the other. And it's just so hard to, I think, adapt to that. And then I think um, people start comparing. I did when I finished drama school. You start comparing about, oh my God, somebody's just in a Netflix series. Someone's just been at I don't know,
Yeah.
the Royal Court, like on stage and stuff. And you go, why am I not there yet? And I think you go through life having a system of like tiered system of like how you're marked against certain projects. And it's always everyone's kind of in at the same level in a class. Like everyone goes for the same projects and stuff like that. Whereas actually, when you spit out, and I think it's one of the hardest things about being in your 20s is that you're just there like, so there's no marks for me to
Yeah.
level myself on anymore. And it's
Yeah.
actually just
And
my own
everyone's
journey.
different too. Everyone's marks are like
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so weird because going from being at school where like everyone does these same exams at the same time,
Yeah.
like everyone is working like towards the same goal.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you're not, and you're just kind of thrown out there, like
Mm.
I think only now, like after a year of doing it, I'm like used to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so weird. And I also I think as well, a lot of films that like I grew up watching, the films like kind of always end when they go to college. And
Yeah.
like a high school film, they follow them throughout high school and then they go off to college.
Mm.
Not like really anything there
Mm.
um from after that where you're like trying to find your feet. And yeah, it's such a weird time. And I
Mm.
feel like you say with the comparison. everyone's on social media these days, and you are comparing all your moments to everyone's best moments. Um,
Mm,
and it's so easy, especially when you can see like numbers, and
mm,
it's so easy just to compare what everyone else is doing it's to what you're doing. And I think
mm,
by choosing, also by choosing like uh I don't know, like a normal career and doing
mm,
something more creative, like you're going against the norm and you're like doing something that already feels a bit weird,
mm,
like times 10, because like no one else is really like doing,
yeah.
unless, I think that's where you kind of have to find your people,
Mm,
because surrounding, something that has really helped is to surround myself with other people that are doing similar things.
yeah.
I think like I have a lot of friends who are not creative people, and who have like a 9 to 5, and I was comparing myself to them, and like
Mm,
a lot, which like you can't do that because they're two different things.
mm,
So I think surrounding yourself with people that are doing similar things. Also, like it doesn't have to be like uh
exactly. You're
exactly
saying,
what you're
yeah.
doing, but like I find that I get on really well with like musicians and stuff because
Mm,
they're creative in the same way and they like following a similar path, but like it's really different. So I find that really interesting.
mm.
Um
I also think as well with the creative thing that even though you've all been trained at the same place, um, you all offer something different. Like in the acting industry, maybe there was only one other girl that was the same casting type as me in my whole year group.
Mhm.
Out there in the world, there are thousands with the same casting group as me, but everyone kind of offers something different. And I'm guessing it's very similar in your career path as well, is that everyone has their own unique style. And then on that level, that's something else added because one employer might go, that's not the style that we need, although that I really like it. And then another employer might be like, that's exactly what I want. Great. That's what I visioned in my head. And so people's creativity is also subjective. And like that's another layer that happens with it as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And like now, with the rise of AI as well, that's like a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. And a lot of like publishers and agencies will um want you to have a style that like isn't easily replicated by AI. And that's
Mm,
like something that kind of you have to work on to kind of stay like stand out. Uh,
mm,
yeah, and then like the whole thing with style, I think it's really easy to get tunnel vision almost, where you everything has to be in the certain style and everything has to be like distinctive to uh your like brand. But I feel like that also creates so many limitations because then you're not exploring new things and you're not like trying things out and making mistakes. Because I think that when you do those things and you make mistakes, happy accidents happen, and that's where you can like, I don't know, that's where sometimes like the most interesting like stories come from.
it's
Or
true. Everyone's sort of striving, I think, for perfection straight away, and
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
doesn't work like that, I'm afraid.
No, that can be
So,
limiting. That can
yeah,
be such a, it's so hard to do though, because like I'm the same, and I don't like, I find it really overwhelming like starting something new because like I want it to be good.
yeah.
Um, and I do think that like just starting something is often the like hardest part. And I saw a quote that someone said, it was something along the lines of like just do it even if it's bad, or just
Mm,
bad, or something like that, which I think is like really good to live by, because you just got to do it. You just got to start, and then you can make it better and you can learn and you can
mm.
do things differently. But if you never start, then
Yeah. And I can guarantee that every person who starts something, like it's, even the like classic books that you read, I can imagine the first draft of that book would have been awful. And
yeah.
that's totally fine to say because nothing comes out like Shakespeare, like straight away. Like nothing comes out just like that. It takes time to get it to where you want it. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I always bang on about it, but your sense of like artistic taste always develops and grows and gets better.
Mm.
And if that takes time to work on, then so does your art or whatever you're working on, really. Amazing. My last question that I ask to everybody is, what advice would you give to any creative? This can be specifically in your field, if you like. But yeah, is there anything?
Yeah, I think sort of similar to what we were just saying, don't kind of get bogged down by what like the end result, because I've kind of learned that the end result is like always changing. And what I think might like it's good to have goals and that's great, but to be flexible with them because those goals are always changing, and you change as a person as well. And I also just think like just start making stuff. That would be my biggest advice. Make what you want to make and do it even if it's bad. Just do it
Hmm.
because that's when you start figuring out what works and what is good and what
Hmm.
you want to do. So just like make stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
think that I was always told like just yeah, like the same thing, like just start something and then when the obstacles come later, deal with it then.
yeah,
Have a little
exactly.
bit of like delusion of like
Yeah.
how it's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
you do have to start to yeah, to create something. And then when problems arise, I always just think I'll deal with it then. I'll deal with it then. So
Yeah,
there's no point worrying about you, like you said, an end product before you've even got there. But
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much for chatting and telling me all about your career. It's been amazing. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No worries. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me.